What's going on YouTube? So Buick has been on a massive sweep through their lineup, redesigning everything.
And today we're with their latest compact SUV, the reimagined Buick Envision. This SUV has serious levels of luxury and tech on the inside.
So, does that make this new Envision like buying a Cadillac but for Chevy money? Well, let's go ahead and find out. So first things first, let's go ahead and start off with our spec dump. So all the Envisions will come just one way. That's a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine with 228 horsepower paired to a 9-speed automatic transmission, and we have standard all-wheel drive now across the entire lineup. Additionally, this fully loaded Avenir does have a special tuned suspension.
Now, of course, we will be talking about all of those things when we take this out for a spin. We'll also be getting things like our signature sound level reading so we see how quiet it is, as well as discussing potential resale value and reliability.
But let's go ahead and close up the hood because we need to look at the exterior design and especially the new interior. Now, beginning things with the exterior, obviously you're going to see quite a departure from what it was previously. This is Buick's new bold design language. It's kind of proliferated across their entire lineup, and now here it is on the Envision. There are 3 different trim levels for this model. All 3 of them are going to have a different look up here in the front. This is the fully loaded Avenir model, so this is going to give you the most bling of the group. You've got a lot of chrome that kind of runs across through here, including these little accents inside of the gloss black finish, and then you've got more chrome accents along the side and the bottom. Now, in terms of our headlights, these are also very different. We've got that new split design on board, so that means up here at the top, we have our LED daytime running light and turn signal indicator. As you can see, this does have a dynamic turn signal, and it also has an animation when you approach the vehicle. Down below, we have a large cluster here. These are projector LED headlights, which are actually standard on all trim levels as well. Now, as we move around to the rear design, this is where you'll notice some carryover elements from the last model year.
Yeah, but I think it actually looks still really handsome for the segment. Now, as far as some of the design touches, we have a wiper right there on the glass, an integrated spoiler, and Drew's hopping inside so we can check out all of the taillight elements. Now, you will notice that we have a clear taillight lens. That is Avenir exclusive. And then as far as the taillight itself, it is also going to be a full LED setup. So as you can see, we have an LED brake light, LED turn signal that actually has the dynamic ability, and an LED reverse light down here at the very bottom. So I like the all LED lighting. That's certainly very nice. As far as other design elements, we do have faux exhaust outlets on all versions of the Envision, and we also have a 1,500-pound tow rating.
Now, before I get into the wheels, you may have noticed that this is a 2024 model year, and you might have been thinking, why is this not a 2025? Well, actually, this vehicle appears to have been delayed in coming over. This is actually built in China. It's one of the few vehicles sold in the U.S. that are built in China, and we checked the manufacturing date. It was December 2023, so it's been a long time coming, getting here to dealership lots here in the U.S. But nevertheless, let's get into those wheels like I was talking about. 18-inch alloys are going to be standard equipment. ST and Avenir will both come with 20-inch alloys. The Avenir is going to give you this silver finish on board. The ST will give you a blacked out option. But overall, this really matches well with the rest of the exterior. You do have body color wheel surrounds as well. Avenir branding down there. As we come up here to our mirrors, you've got standard blind spot monitoring, standard heating. We don't have power folding, but we do have auto dimming on the driver's side.
Now, here at the side, we have an overall vehicle length of about 183 inches long, which actually makes it about an inch longer than the Cadillac XT4. And as far as some of the design elements, a lot of chrome going on here. Now, as far as your safety systems are concerned, I'm very happy to tell you that you're going to get all of them as standard equipment on every Envision. So definitely a nice premium feature on all models. But guys, that's going to be it for the exterior. There is a really cool feature to show you on the inside. But first, if you're new here, we're brothers, and we've been reviewing cars since we were 12
and 16. We may be young, but we love cars.
And we'd love for you to subscribe to be a part of our Car Confections family. Let's learn a lot, have some fun with all the latest cars.
All right, now let's get to the start of the show, the interior. But first, here's our key fob. Typical Buick and GM key fob. You do have a smart entry system as well as remote start. And then one of the cool things about this vehicle is that it does have those new animations I was mentioning earlier. So when you unlock the vehicle, you're going to see some cool things happen with the headlight and the taillight cluster. Yeah, pretty slick stuff. I definitely like the little extra touches, again, making this feel very Cadillac-like. And speaking of Cadillac, this interior definitely reminds me of Cadillac, that's for sure. And before we get into all those specific details, as always, we need to start off with our seats. So obviously the Avenir is going to have the elevated seat design. This is a full leather seat. It comes with a beautiful quilted stitching design here with lots of different details. Avenir is going to be inside of the headrest itself. It does feel pretty soft and supple as well. You get leather on the ST and then a leatherette on your base preferred. In terms of our seat controls, we have 12 ways of power adjustment. You'll notice this little knob though, and that's because Avenir has exclusive power massage. That's another very cool feature borrowed from Cadillac. And then finally, we do have memory seats right there on the door. But let's go ahead and climb inside. And now that I've closed the door and we're fully inside, first of all, you will be greeted with an animation across this display, but I'm not going to talk about that quite yet. Let's talk about the rest of the cabin materials. So over here in our door trim, you're going to find a nice leatherette that goes across here with stitching detail. It is going to be padded through here and soft touch along the top. In our door trim, we've got this really nice textured aluminum trim. As we move to the upper dashboard, this will be soft touch plastic up here. And in the center section on this Avenir, we've got a perforated leather. You have more leatherette that runs through there, and it is going to be padded along the center console. Finally, things will be finished off with a piano black in this area. But let's go ahead and fire it up with our push button start. And now that everything is all fired up, we might as well just go ahead and start talking about this right from the start. The thing that really draws your attention is this massive display. So this is a 30-inch single-piece display. So as you can see, there is no division at all between the infotainment side and the gauge cluster side, which makes it just extremely impressive how it all just seamlessly blends together. It really looks fantastic, and here in person, the graphics are top-notch. This is certainly a display that is Cadillac level. It really reminds me strongly of what Cadillac just added to the XT4. Now, as far as the gauges themselves, obviously you will notice exclusive graphics for Buick Duty. That really just means that we have very simple-looking graphics that don't overwhelm you. They're very calming and matched with the character of the vehicle. One of the things I like is over here on the left-hand side, we can actually turn on and off and adjust our head-up display with the touchscreen that's kind of integrated in right there. Obviously, as you can see, there is the head-up display. Now, if we go back to the steering wheel, we've got the latest Buick design. It's really nice. It's a good thick rim on board. We have a stitch design that's going to be leather wrapped on your top two trim levels, manual tilt and telescoping, and then we also have steering wheel heating here on the Avenir. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at our interior storage. So as I pop this open, you're going to notice that it has some stuffed donuts inside. That's because here at Car Confections, we like to see how many donuts can fit inside of a center console. Test out the volume, and this, of course, is our emblem. And the answer to this today is 9 donuts, which is respectable for a compact SUV. Up in front of that, you have a little pad right there. We've got another little storage cubby, 2 cup holders. If I push that back, that's where we have our wireless phone charging pad and our USB connections, but we're still not done yet. Underneath of here, we have a giant center pass-through. So I'm really impressed by the overall amount of little storage cubbies, nooks, and crannies to stick things inside of this Envision. Now, the reason why is because we have the electronic shifter up here on the column for 2024. Just press down to D for drive. You have paddle shifters on the steering wheel as well. Go up for reverse. And there's our actually surprisingly standard 360-degree camera system. So this is on all trim levels. That means you can switch between several different views right there, over here in your menu. One thing I do want to point out is obviously, as you can tell, it's not taking up a great deal of the display. Even though it's got a lot of space to work with, it's just a tiny portion of the screen. Also, both of our mirrors do tilt down when in reverse to help you see the parking lines better. Now down at here, this actually I thought was the shifter at first, but this is a volume knob for our audio system. Let's go ahead and give it a sample right now. Yeah, so overall sound quality is pretty good. Definitely fills up the cabin nicely with its 9 speakers. Okay, so as we go through this area, obviously it has a very simple design. You've got this one panel here, which is our climate controls. It is going to be a single zone automatic setup on your lower 2 trim levels, dual zone auto here on the Avenir. And we can make those adjustments very easily with our physical controls, and you see that reflected up there in the display itself. Now also inside the display is where you'll find your controls for the heated and ventilated seats. Heated seats are going to be standard on just the Avenir as well as the ventilated seats, but you can option those on to the lower trim levels. Also inside of the display are some of your controls, such as the headlight controls. A lot of GM vehicles have been moving to the digital headlight controls. This is one of them. All right, and now we're back up here with our main infotainment system. Obviously, this does have the latest design on board and the latest software. That means you've got Google Apps built in, such as Google Assistant, and you also have Google Maps. So if I click right there, you'll see that pull up behind our privacy message there. Overall performance, very snappy. We also have built-in wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, so that's what that looks like when it's running inside of the screen. Rising above here, we've got the auto-dimming mirror with our HomeLink universal remotes, and if we press that switch there, this is a rear camera mirror, so it cuts out all the back obstructions. And then finally, when I press that button, this is going to pull back the power sunshade for the panoramic sunroof. This is another standard feature on the loaded Avenir trim, but you can add it to your lower trim levels as well as an option.
Now, the Envision in the rear really is surprisingly spacious. I honestly feel like it's a lot more spacious than something like a Cadillac XT4. As far as those figures, we're sitting at about 39 inches of legroom, about 39 inches of headroom as well. So really, really impressive space figures. And one of the things we do in all of our Car Confections reviews is get our knee room measure. So with the seat adjusted to Drew's driving position, we are sitting at about 5 inches of additional knee room. I'm 5'8" for reference, and my feet can slide up underneath the seat. I do want to point out these seats do not recline any further than this, so this is going to be the maximum amount they recline. Now, as far as features, you will also notice that we have these buttons. These control the heated rear seats, which are standard on the Avenir model. Exclusively, we also have rear vents and 2 USB ports, a C and an A variety, and a household style outlet. So quite a lot of features. We also have this fold down center armrest with cup holders inside. And then as far as the door trim itself is concerned, it's going to be made of the same materials as the front, so we have soft touch plastic and some leatherette. The bottle storage is decently big. It actually will fit the Stanley water bottle, or you can just put it here in the center console. And walking up to the tailgate, we do have a hands-free power tailgate standard on the Avenir Envision only. And as far as the space is concerned, once the tailgate does open up, it is a little slow. You're going to be sitting at about 25 cubic feet of cargo capacity behind the second row of seats. If we fold those seats down, which they do fold 60-40 split folding, we'll be looking at around 54 cubic feet. So not a ton of room. That is going to be a decent figure, but not super impressive. But let's go ahead and fold those seats down and see what it looks like. There are not any handles to do that, so I will have to just go up and do it in the second row itself. And now that I've done that, you can see we have a completely flat loading floor, which allows us to get our Car Confections signature cargo measurements. That's something we do in all of our reviews as well. In case you're looking to haul something, we're looking at 68 inches of overall cargo length from behind Drew's driver position. From behind the second row of seats, we are looking at about 34 inches of length. As far as the cargo opening, 41 inches wide, and then underneath of the cargo floor we do have a spare tire. Well guys, here we are behind the wheel of the refreshed Buick Envision. In this test drive we're going to be discussing quite a lot of things, as you can see on the screen right now, including getting our sound level reading going 55 miles per hour. But first we want to go ahead and start by giving you a hard acceleration.
As easy as that, we're at 60 miles per hour. So, like we were talking about at the spec dump, this just comes in one configuration. That is a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine. Power output is 228 horsepower and 258 pound-feet of torque. As you can see, that really gets it up to speed quite nicely. It's certainly very torque-rich, especially when you're getting off the line. And overall, it feels familiar because, we've been talking a lot about, comparison to Cadillac. The XT4 does have the same engine, same kind of power output. It's a few more horsepower, but the experience when you press the gas is really the same, and that's quite nice. And of course, Buick is, kind of a tweener brand, so you can cross-shop this against mainstream options as well as luxury options. So if you're looking at this against mainstream options, this is going to be more powerful than most of those other vehicles, that's for sure. Against luxury rivals, this is going to be right in line with that. And as far as the other element of the powertrain, that of course is our 9-speed automatic transmission. Really nice and smooth on board as well. You kind of expect that from a Buick. You want that smooth, refined performance, and indeed it does deliver shifts that you really can't even feel.
Yeah, and as far as how the power is routed to the ground, we do have standard all-wheel drive on the Envision, which is nice. That's something you actually don't get standard on the Cadillac XT4, and we'll go ahead and insert your fuel economy in a box down below. But now that we're just kind of cruising along at 55 miles per hour, let's not leave you in suspense any longer. Let's see how quiet this cabin is at 55 miles per hour. So I'll put it on fan speed 1. 57.2 decibels is what we are sitting at as our official Car Confections sound level reading for this new Envision. I don't have to sit here and guess how it compares to the competition, though, because I can actually find that at carconfections.com/sound level reading. So any car you're looking to compare, you can find it. As far as how that does compare, it is once again going to depend on what you're comparing it to. On the luxury side of things, it will be on the louder side, as you might expect. On the mainstream side of things, it will kind of place right in the middle, so do keep that in mind when it comes to sound level reading, although I do think it feels relatively quiet in here, and that matches nicely with the really smooth suspension that they have on board with this Envision. That's one of the things I'm very happy with, is when you get in this, it feels quite a bit more premium than a regular mainstream compact SUV. Definitely feels a step above. You'll see that demonstrated as we go over this bump right here in the road. Yeah, it just does a really good job of soaking it up. It's very comfort focused, as you would expect out of a Buick product. And one of the things I do want to point out is you get adaptive dampers here on the Avenir model, so I think that's going to further improve your ride quality here on this top model.
Yeah, and this is not sloppy in terms of its handling either as we're going around the corners. You know, it's pretty much what you'd expect. A little bit of body roll, but nothing that's you know, gonna make you nauseous. This isn't your grandma's 1990 Buick, that's for sure.
And let's also discuss one of our signature things we do in all of our reviews, our Car Confections Slam Dunk and Airball, our favorite and least favorite element. Drew, why don't you kick us off with the Slam Dunk?
Yeah, Slam Dunk has got to be the refresh, but specifically the interior refresh. They really stepped up the game a lot with the interior. This technology just makes you feel like you're in a Cadillac, and that's really impressive for this price point, especially since you get all of this tech, even on the base model.
Yeah. On the Airball side of things, once again, it will depend largely on what you're cross-shopping it with, but especially if you're cross-shopping this with a mainstream vehicle, Honda CR-V, Toyota RAV4, maybe in their fully loaded trim levels, you're going to have a lot less space in the rear seats as well as in the cargo capacity, about 20 cubic feet to be exact, so that's definitely something worth considering. And lastly, when it comes to your warranty, we do have a 3-year 36 basic, 5-year 60 powertrain. You do also get 1 service visit. And let's talk pricing. This is one of those weird vehicles that actually has went down in price for 2024. So that's a really nice thing to see. Buick is actually reducing the price on all the trim levels for a pretty decent amount. So we're starting at $35,900 for the preferred all-wheel drive, Sport Touring $38,400, and this Avenir is $47,000. Once we add in all the features and destination, you'll be sitting in a little bit more expensive than that. And if you're looking to buy a Buick Envision or any new vehicle, we would encourage you to go to carconfections.com/newcarquotes. Now, the reason you do that is because we have a tool on our website that will connect you with local car dealers in your area to get you the best price. It's also going to give you access to invoice pricing information, which is a great tool for dealership negotiation. If you'd like to take advantage of that, a link is provided in our video description, and there's also a pinned comment at the top of this video. All right, now it's time for us to discuss potential resale value and reliability to make sure you are making a smart purchase. Now, first up, we're going to discuss resale value. Now, as an economics graduate myself, Drew and I took the time to develop what we think is a good estimate for this Buick Envision's potential resale value. We estimate that after 5 years and 60,000 miles, it'll be worth 46% of its original MSRP, and after 10 years and 120,000 miles, 17.1%. Now, it's worth noting that it is going to be, kind of a in-the-middle resale value. It is below industry average, but it's above a lot of the luxury rivals, if that's what you're looking at, and it is going to be below mainstream rivals, if that's what you're looking at.
Now, we've also done the same for reliability by developing the Combined Reliability Index. This takes into account several studies from trustworthy sources and combines them in a way that gives you a more holistic and realistic picture. In this regard, Buick is rated very highly. It's one of our top-rated brands in overall reliability and well above the industry average.
Now, if you'd like to learn more about our reliability as well as resale value metrics as well as our methodology, be sure to head to carconfections.com/resale and carconfections.com/reliability. Buying a car is a very big decision, so you want to make sure you're making a smart purchase, especially if you're cross-shopping between different vehicle brands. And guys, that's going to be it for our in-depth review of the heavily refreshed 2024 Buick Envision. If you enjoyed watching this video or found it helpful in your purchasing decisions, which we hope you did, we'd really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button down below. By subscribing, not only are you going to get the latest car reviews such as this, you'll also be a part of our Car Confections family, and we have a lot of fun on this channel that I'm sure you won't want to miss out on. If you're already part of our family, thank you so much for your continued support, and we'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.